You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the June 5th meeting of the Michigan City Urban Enterprise Association special meeting. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. Jim.
Here.
Bruce.
Here.
Nick.
Here.
Tristan.
Here.
Tommy here. Gabby here. Miss Collins. Sylvia.
Miss Martin, I'm here.
Oh, good. And I miss you already. So be safe out there driving, please. Okay.
I'm fine.
Okay.
My phone is propped up.
Okay, cool. Well, this isn't going to take very long. Okay, as you guys know, we had a conversation some time ago about supporting the Small Business Association with their yearly expo. And for the last 3 or 4 years, the expo has done really, really well in bringing in a lot of small businesses to network and to discuss, you know, how they're looking at their plans. And they have actually provided good resources to some of the small businesses locally. And I was very impressed with digging into their background and what they had done because I wasn't familiar with them. And they came to us wanting, as you all might have read, the $50,000 to support this expo. That's in putting on the whole thing. So that request is something we need to vote on. And as it's usually proposed as someone placing it on the floor, I almost think that because it came in written form, it's just something I just need to ask, do we have a unanimous vote on, or is there some discussion needs to be had? But first we need to go ahead and vote. So with that being said, is there any questions?
I liked it because I'm a newcomer. It would help me to get just a little better sense of some history on this, and then I'll feel more comfortable.
And if you decide that you want to sustain from voting, that's perfectly fine too.
I think we're all new.
Yeah, pretty much. But I do appreciate that because when we came to the table wanting to get more information and make sure that it was clear and that we were, you know, moving in good faith forward, we wanted that information. So it's all good. So with that being said, again, it's just these 2 or 3 women are local. They started a small business association to help other small businesses to identify resources, to keep their businesses afloat, current, fresh, and to address whatever issues they may discover as a small business. And this was during COVID that they basically came together to try to, again, boost morale around considering opening up a small business locally here in Michigan City. And again, they're local women, and they're minority women. So those 2 things struck me really deeply. And then when I went to this last expo that they put on, I was really struck at the number of people that came through the door. There were 200 or 300 people showed up at the brewery for that event, and that's not a really big venue. So in their efforts to try to identify a big venue, we met with one of our board members, who's no longer a board member, who was managing the Uptown Theater, and he worked with them to try to identify what would be an appropriate date for them to get the facility. They identified the date in the time frame that was desired for them to meet a crowd, as they suggested, and group and folks and individuals who could identify with what they were trying to do, maybe even support their efforts by bringing them in from out of state. They missed that date. And it has a lot to do with, again, what and how we operate as being a community board. That time frame that we needed to get the approval from us so that they could get the support we may try to give them that date came and went. So now they've identified another date, and now they're asking us if we would still be interested in supporting them. And that's kind of brings it up to
This
date.
event also is, they're bringing in entertainment to try to draw more people in as well, and small businesses can set up and sell things. And so also give services. She said I think it was a massage table was set up last year from one of the local
Yeah, it's like
businesses as well.
13 booths. I mean, yeah, it's enough. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I couldn't hear what you said, Debbie.
They're bringing in some entertainment this year, or at least they want to try to draw more people in. And then they also allow the small businesses to set up tables to sell things or provide services such as like massage table, just any kind of services that can be provided there.
So some questions.
Go ahead.
Is there anything, I mean, based off of what I believe, again, I'm new too, this board to be, is there anything like statutorily that would prevent us from, giving monies to something like this that doesn't directly impact what I felt like our mission was?
Maybe our charter, maybe that's a word.
Yeah, I don't think we have bylaws, right?
We have
But is there,
bylaws.
because I know it's not statutorily, because I don't think this is a state-run board, right? It's more Michigan City. But
Yes.
you know what I'm saying when I say
Yeah.
that? Like, are we outside of our purview here of what we're chartered to do, right, or whatever?
No.
No, this actually, if we decide to.
Because you got businesses paying into this, right? That's how it's
Yes,
feeling. And then if
yes.
they
So-
find out, hey, well, you're not using that to the
Yep,
extent that we were told you were supposed to use, because you're supposed to use this to give grants to folks to upgrade their business.
yep.
You're just giving money to something that's, over here.
So, for example, LaPorte, UEA puts on the Sunflower Festival every year. They go and they have vendors set up, and that's what they use their funding for. They don't even do the grants like what we do for businesses and residents. So this program is set up just to give back to the community. So we can use that in any way that we choose to do.
Now, did you hear that? Because that's really important what you just said.
Yeah.
We are looking for opportunities to help small businesses, families, in whatever capacity they need to meet the needs of the people that they're trying to serve, which is the community and the residents here in Michigan City. And this particular opportunity, once again, is something that is right in line what we should be doing, because we're trying to help support small businesses, especially bringing in new businesses into Michigan City. And our desire is to support all of that development happening. That's where we should be, along with supporting residents, because that's my heart source,
Yeah.
why I'm here.
Yeah, I guess I was kind of focusing on the residents.
The residents, it's a two-part. The residents is the one part, but the business is the other part. And both of those should work together, long as they're inside of the urban enterprise zone.
Sure.
That's my
And I guess,
So, I have a question. Will this event be hosted inside the urban enterprise zone because of the years to alleviate, kind of the questions
Yes.
as far as the boundaries? Because I think the main boundary for this rule is that everything that we do needs to contribute and support the people within this urban enterprise zone.
And stay right there, and your thought don't ever change. That's exactly right.
So here, I think this is just tying in with already been said, and I know I come into this with the eyeglasses of a lawyer, but I may have missed something. Do we have a nice sort of written document of what this is about?
Bylaws.
Well, I'm pretending that somebody asks us next July, why did you fund this? And I think we'd like to be able to point to sort of a written summary of how this is within our charter. It furthered our charter,
part of the mission.
our purpose, et cetera.
Do you almost have copies of the bylaws?
Perhaps
I might.
No?
They're in the group that I shared the link.
well, I don't want to say
We'll
they're
get to
not.
that later.
It may just, I probably overlooked reading, okay?
Yeah.
But
No, I don't have them. I look.
Yeah, they're in the shared file on the.
It will
Google
answer your
Drive.
questions.
I'll send that link out
The
again.
bylaws will.
answer that this is within.
This is within our preview of what we're doing and what our efforts are. What are your concerns? That's what you just need to address.
Yeah, well, I'm taking this through because I didn't come in here with a pre one way or the other, so I'm trying to whiteboard here. So are we We participated in sort of the planning of this event, and is us participating in the planning something we would normally do for something we fund, or is that more involved than we would normally get?
This is something that we should have probably been doing since the very beginning of this board's existence and never have been done because the focus wasn't on the right areas.
Can I add in?
Go ahead.
Also, this board sat dormant for multiple years. This wasn't even used for multiple years. It came back up around 2017, 2018, and they started developing all these different programs. So we're still, like, we can develop and change how we are doing things to benefit the community as time goes. Like I said, LaPorte has changed. They used to do grants, now they just do this big sunflower festival. So we can adapt and change as time goes. It just depends on what you guys want to do.
So in a sense, and I'm putting different words in the way you expressed it, they're sort of doing what we should have been doing, which is what I think I heard you say.
Long time ago.
And you've answered my next question. I think I think both Nick and I, your tilt. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Your tilt on whether this feels like this is an appropriate or not an appropriate. Your tilt on that means a lot to me in thinking this through.
My concern and understanding about this process has been clear from the beginning, although we weren't given the information needed. And it was only because of my experience, my background. And so when I identified the fact that we were not giving back to small businesses and to the community in a significant way, it seemed to be more tilted towards developing of new businesses or businesses that had already existed that wanted a new furnace system. Are you all following
We
me?
can talk offline about some of the stuff
Right.
that's happened in the past
just-
as well.
Yeah, I don't need to dive into the history. I'm just, you're helping me get a sense of this. Please proceed.
It wasn't focused on how do we develop small businesses in the urban enterprise zone like we thought it should have been the main piece, with emphasis on how do we support residents in the urban enterprise zone. So, because if you build businesses and you give jobs to individuals who live in the urban enterprise zone, then they can better take care of their homes. So that our thought was, look at the small businesses, and we've learned quickly, there's not a lot of support for small businesses locally in Michigan City. That I think gives significant dollars. Recently, I think with some infrastructure money that has come through the federal government, that's changed somewhat, which we're happy to hear. But how is it decided and who gets it? It's probably not a lot of the people in the urban enterprise zone. We don't know that. I'm probably making an assumption. It's probably wrong. But if we're taking care of the urban enterprise zone, it really wouldn't matter, right? Am I wrong or right?
So how many vendors do they
I
already
have a
have?
question.
Hold on just a minute, miss. Hold on.
How many vendors do they already have committed to the expo as of now?
She's on here if she can answer that.
Is she?
Yeah,
Camille? Can you answer the number of vendors you already have listed?
We have up to 30 right now, but we usually have up to 50.
so once they have a date in place, I would imagine that number will grow.
These are vendors who would be delivering services to residents and or delivering services
Did you-
to Michigan
did you guys
City
hear
businesses.
me?
Yes, we did. Yes.
Okay.
Small businesses locally and through around the state, if I remember correctly, right, Camille? They're not just local businesses, they come from throughout the state, correct? Or is it just local?
So just as, I'm sorry,
It's northwestern Indiana.
That's what I thought, so around the entire
More local
metropolitan.
than not.
Okay.
so like this is a listening test on my part, and I'm making something up.
Mhm.
So one of these vendors, perhaps more than one, might be like bookkeeping services or income tax preparation or accounting or something like that, where they say, we have a service that can help you Michigan City businesses and give us a chance to sort of integrate into in the community, let you know what we do. Am I listening?
That's, you're listening right.
I don't know.
Camila, can you also talk about the part with the breakouts?
Hold on before she does that, because I believe Miss Sylvia was next, and then you can do that. Go ahead, Sylvia.
My only concern is, so we have this amount of money, but we don't have a breakdown for what it's being utilized for, as far as, identifying what it's going to be spent on to make sure that it's spent on the things that will align with our mission. So will we be able to get a reporting like that to identify where each dollar went? I think that that's very important for bookkeeping purposes.
We do have a breakdown of where and how it is going to be spent. We already know that the amount that was requested is not where we are. It's just, let me just put it to you like that. But what you need to understand is, like we know, that we want to have receipts for every single thing that's done. And we don't do anything without receipts. And so therefore, I believe that whatever has been approved of by this board, we will definitely have receipts on how that money will be allocated, specifically on those items. So it's not just in general, we will be supporting specifically those items. For example, if we decide that we would cover the facility, that would be the receipt that we would receive back in documentation, the cost of that facility.
And that would be received before funding is submitted.
Correct.
So I got
Like we had the invoice that was done up once before that, that went away because we missed the date.
I got another question. So I see the whole aspect, showing off the businesses. So is there anything to offer services to the residents?
That's what it's about. It is about the residents, but the businesses will be there working with the residents, showing them what their services are. So it is targeting the residents, but the small businesses will be the vendors.
And then there's the breakout sessions too, which are
Right.
supporting the businesses even more. So if Camille can talk about that real quick, and then we can get a vote because we're
Past time. Did you hear that, Camille? Can you talk about the breakout sessions? Just give a snapshot of what's being offered during your workshop so that we can make this vote?
Yes, so during the breakout sessions, they give the experienced entrepreneurs and business owners, give those small business and new entrepreneurs the steps and tools to further their business and keep their businesses strong. So we always target those businesses that have successful track records to come and mentor our up and coming or small businesses that are struggling or need to elevate. So that's how we do the breakout sessions, from finance to market your business, and also to things to keep your marketing, like bookkeeping and things like that, so they can be better at their business and better elevate their business.
Right, and then the residents that actually would attend the expo, you have things that are appealing to them as well too. Because did I hear something about food trucks and games for the kids? Did I not hear that?
Absolutely, we have the food trucks. We try to get like some bounce houses. So we have local vendors that are like small businesses that do bounce houses and things like that. We bring awareness to those businesses and also make it a family community outing. We try to make it a one for all for somebody, but it's the main focus is the businesses and the business owners.
That help?
So then if I'm understanding correctly, since we're gonna basically cover certain parts of it, would the motion be not to exceed like 50,000 or whatever it is? Because it might only end up being 47, right, depending on, because we're not just gonna write a check to them for 50 and then get receipts, right? We're gonna say, okay, we're gonna cover
Our
this,
budget
this, and
doesn't
this.
support that.
Okay.
We're gonna get close to that.
That's what I was gonna ask too, is like,
Right.
financially, where are we?
I mean, our
$50,000
business
is a lot of money.
grants are typically up to 7,500.
Right.
So I would suggest to mirror that. But that's just my suggestion.
Those were my thoughts too. I mean, if we're gonna sit there and offer up to a maximum of 7,500 to the businesses or the residents in the city of Michigan City, I think that's our parameters.
I got another question.
You go.
Yeah.
So I understand for like the small businesses, are they offering like an opportunity for the bigger businesses in the community to come out that may be hiring or something? That way residents not just get the opportunity for entrepreneurship, they can also gain employment from other places around that are hiring as
Now,
well.
see, this is why you and I have to go to lunch.
Yeah.
So
maybe a suggestion
those
to
are my
add
thoughts as well.
Because that makes
To make
total
up maybe
sense to
some
me.
of the difference of what we're not able to contribute, if they were to do something like that, then there could be a fee that business pays to be there to help offset those
Absolutely.
costs.
Now, what we can do is maybe have a conversation with them, Camille, Kiki, at any point over the next 2 or 3 weeks, because it sounds like the folks at this table has some really good suggestions on how you could actually take this whole thing to the next level. And what I'm hearing now is that to build on small businesses with successful bigger businesses could lead to employment for the people that we really are concerned about that live in the urban enterprise zone. Are you with me,
She has her hand raised too, Camille.
Camille?
Yes, I'm with you. Yes, that's fine. We were just trying to, you guys had to do something. I love that they start listening.
It just was really more about a statement that these guys have an idea about working with some of the larger businesses that may be in the urban enterprise zone to get them out as well. They may not be small businesses, but they may be the big businesses that I'm hearing Bruce say that financially, not Bruce, Nick say that those larger businesses may be more financially suited to help us. Or help you. I'm sorry, I've qualified myself. It just makes sense.
Yeah, we're absolutely open to that because of course we want to learn and have that opportunity.
Well, we'll work on getting a date set up, Camille, and try to get folks to the table, because it sounds like Sylvia also has some ideas as well. So we can all get to the table in the next couple of weeks and talk about that, because time is running out and of the essence. So with that being said, you were right on point without me having to say what I could say. What you're saying is exactly where we are.
Make that a motion.
So do we have to vote yes or no?
It turns it into
We have to vote yes and no on the
it
50.
turns it into a workforce. I'm sorry, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, it turns it into a workforce development project as well, which is definitely under our purview to contribute the development of workforce within the urban enterprise zone. So it will alleviate any issues as far as what we're utilizing the funds for, in my perspective.
That's correct.
And also incorporating the small businesses with the larger businesses, creating networking between those two as well.
Absolutely. We're all on the same page. Sounds good. So with that being said, the motion, and I'm really, because the request was one thing, and that has to be voted on.
Because why does a request have to get voted on? Because there's no motion. This could just die for no action. We could make a motion
We
in regards
could.
to what Nick
But see,
is
yeah, there
talking
you
about.
go. There you go.
Just because someone requests something doesn't mean you have to
It
vote
doesn't
on
need
it.
to be specified up to $7,500 to cover the venue or
Yeah.
to cover this.
The motion could just be to support the SBA
Small business
Expo for not to exceed $7,500.
And to cover what? What are we covering?
One specific expense, I mean,
Which
I
would
would
be what the venue would probably.
How about if we
I can't
offered it
imagine. I think it's just up to $7,500.
up to 7,500 and they identify what they want to earmark
They,
it for?
okay.
I
That makes
agree.
sense.
What 2 things, 3 things, 4 things add up to that? That's what we're
Okay,
covering.
that makes
Yes,
sense.
and I'd be all right with that.
Okay,
So I'll
so
second that.
who's gonna put the motion fully on the table? Which one are you doing?
Well, I'll make a motion that we, grant $7,500 to Small Business Association of Michigan City for their expo.
There's a motion on the floor for the Small Business Association to receive a $7,500 grant, not exceeding that, with a receipt on completion and a report of all expenditures around the facility cost, or at their own discretion to use that $7,500. Let's call the vote.
We
Bruce?
need a second.
I mean,
To the
second.
motion.
Yes, what's the name?
Can they come in after the expo and tell us how it went?
Oh, to have a report and requesting a report along with that. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion as amended.
All right, now, Jim,
Aye.
Bruce,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Tristan,
Aye.
Tommy, aye. All in, that is quorum. Sylvia?
I'll do about that, I'll forget me.
Yeah, all right now, gonna make me jump through the screen. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ayes, the motion carries. Motion adjourned.
So moved.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.